Hi, YouTube. I'm doing okay today, a little better. I hope you all are well too. It snowed last night a little bit, and my arm has been going crazy. The one I injured last week when I fell. I was telling Doug I am not getting wood in today. I did bring a little in, but it's like, nah, because for the past 3 days and last week it was like that too. I had brought it in, and if I'm the only one bringing stuff in and doing stuff, it gets irritating. It's like, yeah, I'll let the gas run before I bring some in today. So it's like, well, uh, not a big deal. Just telling you what's going on. Little sore. Um, Happy enough though. you know. Anyway, yesterday was sort of a rough one. I had a headache for 2 days that wouldn't go away. And I think a lot of it had to do with not only the mildew smell from the wetness, but also the cleaners that I was using to combat that. So it's like, did you hear that the Trump administration got busted for um, tax evasion or something on, I can't remember the exact words right now, but another video I that was from We Are Change was reporting on that. I'm sort of in the middle of it. It says Trump organization found guilty on all 17 counts in New York tax fraud case. That's what it is. I just read it. So, yeah, that's too bad. We might get interrupted. I don't think so. It's a possibility, but I do know. I see I didn't really have a lot to talk about anyway. I could have got on and just said hello, but like I said, I wasn't feeling the greatest, and I thought, well, I can really use a rest. But oh, I was going to tell you about another video that I watched that was interesting. Was what the Flock TV. Paul had a really good one on the vowels that the Hebrews added to the Assyrian languages. And the reason for that is wasn't just after the Tower of Babel that was the purpose of it all, was to be able to write new words and um, have them correlate with the codes that are found in certain books like the King James or the Webster Dictionary or Merriam Webster in particular. Um, that is a real thing. And those vowels that didn't exist before are encompassed and ingrained. So if you have somebody that's teaching you the Word of God and says that it is Hebrew, they're a part of the agenda. There's no doubt. It's not that everything they say is false, but everything they say, I mean, with everybody, should be scrutinized anyway, especially with to decipher from your own heart, like testing the person's character, you know. Speaking of characters, I had a post on Doug's Facebook group. He has Patriots Unite group over on uh, Facebook if you're interested in joining it. I do more of an antagonist a lot of times, or I'll pass jokes around or stuff on narcissism because I figure if they're a part of his group, then that's well, it doesn't mean that they're just like that, but well, I don't know. So just in case. I make sure I share a lot of that information with them. So, but I had passed around a post about Social Security and how they're always trying to dig in the Social Security fund and um, apply those uh, finances in other areas in this government system that we have, you know. So Doug says to me on that post, make it shareable. And I said, yeah, well, the true colors out here of being rude. I'm like, first I wrote, don't you mean, would I make it shareable? Yeah, and then I'm like going into the true colors of people on the internet when I could have just walked out there and flicked him in his head, you know, what the fuck did you just say to me? you know, anyway, he didn't say anything to me. He didn't write anything back, but I did tell him then. I told him, just go to where the date is where I originally posted it on December 1st. Click right by my name and the date, it'll take you to the original post and it's shareable. But then I did go and get it and went and put it on his private page to make it shareable. So for some reason, his own group has got him where he can't even share information in his own group. Well, certain things it seems like they let him share, but once it's in that group, um, you can't share it out unless you copy it somehow or whatever, you know. So yeah, cheers everybody. My poor old cup. It's my favorite one. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, not a whole lot going on. Just like I say, shooting the breeze. I don't know. I this world is so. I mean, even talking to one of my kids or my grandkids is like, it's not that everybody isn't going to be okay in the world and everything, but it's all this in between stuff that I could live without if you can feel me there, you know. Um, to Darla and Bruce, I saw your comments. Thank you. I will get to them. I mean, as far as addressing them, but I thought I'd do this first and get it out of the way. A lot of times it's a little later in the day where I'll make the videos or but I don't know. I wanted to get this out there, you know, before. Excuse my smoke. I put my own cigarette out. Did you ever do that? I just went to flick it. I flicked the cherry off it. Yeah. So so anyway. Yeah, my headache's just sort of just there. It's not bad like it was. So because he went to town. No, he's not. Just kidding. No, actually, he's going to go. He's still lurking somewhere. But yeah, dude's a trip, an absolute trip. The more I learn about narcissism in this world, that really is my topic of the day is the mass quantities of rude people that even with each other like do this or do that. To me that's unacceptable. You ask, you don't tell somebody, you know. I don't like it. I really detest it. If somebody did that in front of me, well, see, that's why they won't. They got to do it through on the internet and type it out to me so they don't have to face the ramifications, you know. But yeah, that I was surprised, which I didn't know, And I'm not a great big fan of Dr. Phil McGraw, Dr. Phil, but he does have a series that he's did last year, which I didn't know, but just ran across on narcissism, which is probably about the most down to earth I've ever heard him talk before. Um, there's still something within his spirit that irritates mine, but I don't think he's so far away from God that he's not heard as like God doesn't hate him or anything like that. I don't believe, but he's still intertwined with the people in the world that mean harm to other people. So that makes me leery just within itself. So, but if you're interested, or I don't know, to me, when I am being narcissistically attacked or stalked on a constant basis, I'll just turn on a video about narcissism in front of the narcissist, and it's not that they're going to learn any more of their tactics like any better than they already do because they've mastered this stuff. They're the top of the line when it comes to who Shady is. And I found out Shady is not slim. Shady's kind of a chunky guy, you know. But and that doesn't matter to me. That's not even an issue in my life. But I thought it was funny to throw that in, you know, because evidently something attracted me to the chunky guy when I first met him. So yeah, it wasn't anything to do with his looks. He was a conniver and a liar, and the best at it, or he wouldn't have even got near me. But once I figured out what had happened to me, I thought, okay, I'm not going to run from this situation. I'm going to do something. I'm not just going to let somebody come in and travel through my life and act like there were no footprints, if you see what I mean. So I thought, well, he's got a nice saying, nobody rides for free. He used to like that when he had like his Harley or whatever, and that's right, nobody does ride for free, and this is what he's finding out. you know like I told him the other night, he was blabbing some stuff, and um told him, you people are going to find out who the strong ones are and who's actually going to be taking over the world. Whether they can play all the games they want, the people that have the means and the wealth to do all that, like your Elon Musk out in the world and that type of thing. But that really is not the direction the world is going to go. No matter what it looks like right now, I know, I have faith in my heart that things are not going to be as terrible as they want them to be for people, because look at all the stuff they've tried to do to us. They've tried to get us to fight about religion, race, political interests, whatever that would be. There's really only one fight, and that's the force of good against the force of evil. And by force, yeah, I'm forceful on that. I don't bow to the God of forces, although my God can be forceful, especially, I mean, it's the old mama bear thing. You just don't mess with a mama bear. Does anybody have any idea what that really is? you know, I don't know. I know there's a lot of strong fathers out there that are really good with their children and they're honorable, you know. Moms are still different. At least this one is, you know. And I'm not going to let things slide that have happened. No, not at all. I will make a mark and it will be felt around the world. So just watch me. I'm not going to give up. Something I'm going to do is I maybe with my words I've stopped a lot of stuff already. Who knows? Or maybe something you've said or did has stopped or foiled the plans of some erroneous human being, you know? I actually was thinking of horrific, but erroneous came out, but that fits good enough too. So I did make a nice meal last night. I had baked chicken breasts and candied yams with it, which I usually don't put brown sugar on them. But I was just in the mood for something sweet, and I didn't want to eat any candy because the night before, you might have seen I looked a little puffy. I had a headache. I wasn't eating good. I did do my exercises yesterday, but I had gone 2 days before that because the 3 days before the prior 3 days I had been doing a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of I didn't have time to exercise. You know, if you're that busy, you probably don't need to unless it's to stretch, you know, so you don't hurt yourself. So, but yeah, I keep pretty limber. And that's a good thing. When I fell, I think if I, you know, the typical person when you get to be about my age, if you fall down a flight of stairs, you usually don't get up in one piece, you know, a lot of times. So keeping active and as fit as you can be is an important thing. Can't stress it enough, you know. So yeah, that's a very big deal. I wish I had somebody to exercise with, you know, but I used to, but I kicked him out. It wasn't worth the beatings. So anyway, oh shit. God, I've done some dumb things in my life, you know. The people that I let let things slide, you know, because of what I had been taught and what I had been around. I had been conditioned to accept less than what I knew I deserved, you know. Yeah, I settled for less. I didn't think I was, you know. I really didn't. So, in any case, I plead my case to the courts. I'm not stupid anymore, okay? So just lay off me. Oh, shit. Anyway, watched a pretty good movie a couple nights. I split it into 2 nights. Was called Shuttler Island. And I'm not a big Leonardo DiCaprio fan, but he was really good in that. kind of modern. It must not be a very old movie because his skinny little boy face is now a big guy face, that happens. But yeah, really good movie, I thought. A psychological thriller. So yeah, it was good. I was looking for a good sci-fi movie or something, but and once in a while I'll watch a drama. I very rarely watch romances or comedies. They make me sad. Comedies usually are not funny, and I'll start watching it and then they do something immoral or say or do or something whatever and I'm like, "Oh god, dang it." And I have to turn it off, and it's and romances, it's like, are you kidding me? Is romance still alive on this planet? Is it absolutely real? No. So actually, I really am a very romantic person, but I've never been able to display that to anybody because they don't deserve it. So I tried a little bit, and it's like, ooh, that was way too scary. So yeah, and excuse my lighting. I got this LED up above my head, and I have some other fluorescent ones, but the sunlight was so bright coming through my window, and where I'm sitting right now is not. I can't be on my favorite side of the room right now, so yeah. So I think it's okay. It's better than it was the other day. Made my forehead look like a Klingon, you know. And quite honestly, a lot of times in my life, I feel sort of like a Klingon, you know. At least to God, I cling to God. That's about as clingy as I get, but yeah. I'm not a clingy person like that. Um, Faithful and true and honest, but independent. Um, yeah. If you knew the difficulties I've had in my life from being so independent, rather having to wanting to do things more for myself, and not being indebted to anybody else. And sometimes, I mean, if you don't have a real partnership with somebody, I mean, if it's a business relationship, and that's how I categorize my relationship. Um, and I want people to get that straight. Doug knows that, so you should know that too about me, please. You know, that I wouldn't be here if I hadn't have been um, emotionally hijacked, you know, from having a tender heart. But I refuse to turn bitter, and I'm not going to sit there and diss on other people's relationships or infiltrate with bullshit or negative comments or anything like that. I do wish people well, although there was like Global Witness and his ex literally were they were lying. And so I came down on them. And I do like him a little more than I liked her, but I don't really like either one of them very much. So if you're watching this, Derek, the reason I don't like you is because you know what the scriptures say. I know you come from a Masonic family and you're a liar. And being that you were the head of your household and the head of your wife, that makes you responsible for the entire situation. So I'll just leave it there. Rise up, do the right thing. Yeah. Like to see that. I'd like to see one of these so called scholars that says they've read 1,000 books. Shit, I could gather just 1,000 books in my house, let alone all that I've read everywhere I've been. You know, oh, I've read 1,000 books. That makes me a great scholar. Yeah, okay. I liked Dr. Zeus when I was in elementary school too. Tell me some more. You know, Sam, I am. You know? And that's why I come down on certain people. I've got a few videos calling people out and asking them to do the right thing, you know, because there's been times like in the past, say, 15 years out here on the internet, I have run across these people and we've had conversations, and I've asked them a long time ago to start telling the truth, because you can tell when they're reading something or saying something and they've got it written down all how they're going to say it to benefit their own pocketbook. It has nothing to do with educating the masses, nothing at all. They could care less. And that's what gets me. It's like, no, I mean, it doesn't get me, it repels me. So I do follow certain people like Israel News Live, Global Witness. I won't say there's too much, many more that I'm going to exert any energies towards. There's some that I've just wrote off. It's like you're just too stupid right now to excel much further than where you're at. You know, that type of person. It's like I'm not even gonna bother wasting my time trying to explain anything to some of these people. You know, one that comes to mind is like Jeffrey Darty. I will not take and waste my breath saying anything to that, you know, because in his mind, when one part of the scripture is faulty, it's all faulty, but then he'll fall back on Paul, what Paul said, and that would be the worst example. Um, Satanic, if you take Moses and Paul, the same person, and Simon Peter, and yeah, Dick, all the rest of Satan's little nicknames, Billy Bob, whatever. I think you get my meaning, but I can tell when somebody's, so they'll use the scriptures to disprove scriptures. See, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't jive. How do you do that? You know, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, but you're going to tell me what a follower of Christ, Paul, who was Saul, the most evil, wicked person in the scriptures, um, and quote from what he said when he supposedly turned good. Hasn't happened yet, but it's a nice story, you know. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's one person like that. I've ran across people like that. It's like they know, they see the biggest thing in the whole world right now. Well, two things. The biggest thing is making you believe that Satan isn't real. That's the number one thing right now. And I would say the second biggest thing going on is to disprove that that there's no God. So they're really, really actually trying to make it seem Like there is no spiritual world. But the biggest thing, in combination, I guess, with that, what I was trying to say is more like they're denying the Trinity, the Christ spirit that you feel inside of yourself, and um see, the thing is, when you omit the woman out of the situation of life, you're erasing yourself. How would that make sense in any, especially a woman, another woman? How, I mean, I think you feel me. It's like something doesn't seem right here, you know, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. Yeah, Christ and the Father are one. Yeah, because you're the same gender. So, what about the female? She's not spirit. The female spirit can't communicate with people, and that's not her job. Something's a little twisted. Yeah, it is. And I take offense to that, by the way. So, and they say, it says in the scriptures, many will be offended. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe it's a very good thing I get offended because then I'll talk about it. If I wasn't offended, I wouldn't say anything. And if I'm offended against something, you better take note. I know that there's people listening to my voice right now that can hear me think without my voice being spoken. That's the Christ spirit within us. It's not a male thing. And you can say it's not a female thing too, but I'm not even going to beg to differ on there. I'm going to tell you you're wrong, and I'm out to prove that what I'm saying is true. The spirit, the Christ spirit, is carried by the woman. And all your major countries, many heads of countries, and the bloodline is carried by the female. It, and that has nothing, no, the woman is not God, and neither is Christ himself. He's part of the Father, just like you're a part of your mom or a part of your dad. And a closer walk being the genders would make a difference, I'm sure. You know, just like I'm sure my granddaughters are probably able to relate to me a little closer than what my sons have. Maybe just because of their gender, maybe. I'm not able to prove anything that I'm saying right now, but I do believe that what I know to be true will be found out through the languages. And there are people out there, linguists, like what the fuck, Paul, and different people that actually do know the truth and aren't denying that, but they're trying to teach people in segments and lead them up to what the truth is, because for some reason, half of who they are from one parent or the other is annihilating them. It's like it's a family affair, it's a trinity. That's real. So, well, I'm going to let you go. I think that's really kind of what my point was today too. Is I'm really I can't say it more and more and more. I'm so sick of the lies. I'm sick of the weirdos in the world and all the degenerates. And it's not the degenerates that are downtrodden by the spirit of Satan. and his minions going after them that I'm putting down the ones that conduct that energy towards other people and think nothing of it because that's their craft. That's who they are. That's what they do. It's not it's not something they're forced into doing. It's a part of their spirit. It's who they are. So, well, everybody, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you big time. And yeah, I hope you got something out of this. I think I made it clear what I was trying to say. If I haven't, I'll try and say it another way. But if you're not praying, praying like your thoughts, if where are your thoughts going? Are you sure? Who's hearing them? Well, both sides are hearing them. So, and the spirit of Christ that is in mankind now is supposed to be taking the reins from the female side and standing up like king. Um, don't dismiss the other half of that spirit out of your own ego because it's not going to get you anywhere besides setting you back. And I really care about all of you, and I'm telling you the truth because I love you. So, so I, okay, everybody, thank you again. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.